Non-Americans who have been to the US, what is the weirdest thing about America that Americans don't realize is weird? That poison ivy not only exists, but it's so ubiquitous. Car dealerships have huge flags. I don't get why you'd have a flag the size of 10 RVs. So many roads don't have street lights. Not weird, but portion sizes are also huge. I struggled with finishing my food sometimes. When you have ads for drugs and half of the ad is telling you how the drug will kill you while also showing puppies. It's weird. You can get in a lot of trouble for just saying cunt, English who migrated to the US. Ranch, it is somehow both delicious and revolting. And changes which with every mouthful. Americans are super friendly to the point that I, Australian, thought it was sarcasm or fake. Free refills. Went to a restaurant with my dad, both German, and all of a sudden the waiter took away my drink with another perfectly good sip in it and I must have looked pretty shocked. It was only then when my dad explained to me that you guys have free refills. That there are a lot of squirrels. My Brazilian wife says she was amazed that we actually respect pedestrians here. Clearly the fact that there are people to put your groceries in a bag for you. I've never been so stressed and uncomfortable that while I was watching this young girl taking care of my groceries. Hawaiian here, but I never noticed that we didn't have billboards until I moved out of Hawaii. Turns out they're illegal. So that's weird. It's awesome, cause I get unobstructed views, but still weird. The amount of commercial breaks in a TV show. Your toilets are full of water. In Australia the water is much lower. No wonder you complain about splashes on your bum. Edit, added image of typical Aussie toilet so Americans know what I'm on about. Edit 2, since everyone is asking, this is an example of an American loo. Portion size. Saw a kid drinking a pop the size of his head. Neon signs for a fucking funeral home will always stand out. Legal drinking age at 21. It's really weird, especially at age 18 people consider you as an adult. Everything's so big. From the supercenter Walmart store to food portions, the parking lot, pickup trucks, house, cup of coffee, airport, even the people. The bottom of the toilet cube aisle door is higher than a limbo bar. I want to shit in peace. The rituals for paying after food. Call server, ask for bill, wait server brings bill, put card down, wait server takes care and bill away, wait server brings back copy, you add tip, get up and leave. In NZ finish meal, go to front of the restaurant and pay then leave, no tip. Billboards everywhere about Jesus and abortion. And why do the doors on the toilet stalls have such a huge gap between them and the wall? I've been told it's all the clapping. Tax. I find it annoying how in America tax is added after you check at the cashier. In Australia tax is included in the price, e.g. if the price says $6 you pay $6. But in America if it costs $6 it's actually $6.07 or something. I just have found it a nuisance. As an American, this is super fascinating. Canuck here. Ads on TV for medication. Billboard ads for lawyers. Ads for hospitals. Not the weirdest, but all disproportionate amount of men wear colorful, thin puffer jackets. I've only been to Seattle and New York though. Also, it's weird as that some streets simply aren't walkable, the pavement will just end abruptly. But I really like Americans in general. Why you guys don't put the actual full prices on food menus? Some European told me that it's crazy how restaurants are loud and busy and how people eat quick and leave. For him it was normal to sit around and talk for an hour or more after eating in a restaurant. The abnormally high proportion of extroverts. Flags. Everywhere. It's not as if you're likely to forget where you are. Why the fuck is your bread sweet? Sophomore, junior, senior for school. The concept of pharmaceutical advertisements. Your doctor is supposed to recommend drugs to you, not the other way around. Edit, thanks for the silver, strangers. Lemonade made with real lemons, and it's like super sour but somehow sugary sweet at the same time. In Australia, lemonade is the same as Sprite. So when I was there, my mum and I ordered Jack Daniels and lemonade, and they made it with the real lemonade, and it was awful. It was also weird because they sold pre-mixed bottles of Jack's and lemonade with the real lemonade, but in Australia you buy the same ones with Sprite lemonade. Free refills was the other big one. Everywhere has free refills as many times as you like. Never seen that before. In Germany, how are you? Is an actual question, and you generally only ask it if you know the other person. It was super hard to explain to my mum that the answer is always fine, thank you, and that cashiers don't really care about how you actually feel, when we visited the US in '08. How your medical ads show an old guy living life well because of X drug. He has the best time, the wife is having the best time, and it's all because of the drug making things better. The end of the ad is full of warnings about how this happy drug can potentially kill you and your family, nuke your dog, and make cats impotent. Recap the cliffhanger episode of Life in Alaska before another ad break. Unwatchable TV. I went to SeaWorld with my mum when I was in my mid-teens. Halfway through the show, the performer, not the whale, asked everybody in the military to stand up, and the whole crowd gave them a round of applause. They sat back down and the show continued as if nothing had happened. Couldn't imagine anything similar happening back in Blighty. Edit, this was at SeaWorld, Orlando, not San Diego. Roughly 2003/4. When we were flying between cities, I found it weird to look out of the side of the plane and see towns mid-flight. In Australia, once you leave the city's airspace, the landscape is completely barren until you arrive at your destination. Now that Thanksgiving and Christmas is over, the weirdest thing is that Americans will ask what you are doing for Thanksgiving. Are you going to your family, etc.? When you say no, they invite you to their home. I was a student, my family was thousands of miles away, and I'm happy that the local Cracker Barrel is open and looking forward to a meal there. My professor did that. Invited me to his home. I had a good time, but it was strange. I'm meeting his uncles and aunts. And one little girl threw a tantrum, I had to take her to calm her down, etc. It was weird, but also wonderful. In my country things like this would never happen. You don't bring a stranger to a family event. But I'm thankful things like this happen here. American that just traveled overseas. I went to a great bookstore in Edinburgh and the cashier asked if I wanted to sign up for a rewards membership. This led to a conversation about how their CEO or something just took over Barnes & Noble in the States. I stated the closest B&N to me is an hour away, and the other cashier jumped in, saying how easy it is to forget how far apart things are in the States. He was just kind of baffled and said it often blows his mind. I moved 13 hours away from my hometown and I still managed to be in the same country, which seems like a foreign concept for most Europeans. When, in reality, I could have moved even further away and still been in the US. Everything in America is huge. I don't just mean the people or portion sizes, because we all know about that, but the roads, the buildings, the ceilings, the space between everything. America is gigantic. It just feels larger than it does here. I'm Australian, but I've been to Asia, and size-wise it's similar to Australia, and I've seen Europeans say the same about America. Everything is bigger. For me as British bloke who only travelled for 6 weeks in the US, your public transport is largely poor, but everything is built for cars and your cars are big. You advertise not businesses but personalities a lot. So it's not that KGH estate agents will well your property, but Mary Houghton will personally sell your house, with a big picture of her face. Random people will talk to you. I'm a Londoner, so it is different up north in the UK, but especially when I got to the southern states, people were so happy to talk to random strangers. You guys actually sit at the bar in bars. When we go to a pub/bar, we'll go with friends and rarely interact outside of that group really. You guys jump up at that bar and just start chatting. Where homelessness is visible, it's bloody awful. San Francisco was horrible for this. Me and my, now, wife ended up making a load of extra spag bowl to give to the homeless people outside our hostel because it was shocking to us. If I think of any more I'll add them, but it's Christmas Day and I should probably talk to my family. Canadian here. I was blown away by how weirdly social people are with strangers. Like some random guy I've never seen before just starts telling me his life story on the street. He is super normal, and doesn't seem crazy, just wants to talk to me for some reason. But then also, the dude at Wendy's is loudly threatening some 16-year-old cashier in front of like 45 people. I got the impression the Wendy's guy was uncool, but the other guy seemed normal, and where I live I generally assume that a stranger talking to me for no reason is either crazy or high. I lived for a long time in different places around the world, and something that I really missed when moving to a new town was the lack of a US-style bar where it was easy for a stranger to meet people. Outside of the US, it is rare to find a bar where everyone just sits and faces the same direction, whether or not a sporting event was playing on the television. Instead, they have a more pub-like environment, where everyone is sitting in groups at their individual tables. This makes meeting new people extremely difficult. Think about it, with the table-style bar, in order to strike up a conversation with a stranger, you literally have to approach them while they are sitting at their own table with their own friends. It's almost impossible to not look like a total freak. In a proper Cheers-style bar, you can just say some random phrase to the bartender, and if the person sitting next to you wants to talk, they'll just join in on the conversation. Basically, in non-US bars, if you aren't invited ahead of time by someone, you are damned to sit alone in some corner of the bar. I live in the South, and one time I was hanging out with a friend smoking by a lake in late spring, early summer. He was Egyptian and had just moved here over the winter. All of a sudden he freaked out, saying he was seeing weird lights in the trees. I thought he was too high or something before I realized he meant the lightning bugs. He'd never seen them and didn't know what they were, so I started catching them, and he was mind blown that they were just a normal seasonal thing. Canadian here. Canada's fast food restaurants have signs that fairly normal height, just enough to get the point across while not being obnoxious. Cross over to the USA and within 5 seconds of leaving customs you can see fast food signs hundreds of feet in the air on giant poles. 2 to 3 times taller than here in Canada. Why? Also, finding peanut butter and jelly swirled into the same jar was shocking. Holy shit, so me and my wife are here for our honeymoon right now. Been here for 2 days, and what I've noticed. Your bathroom stalls have like a 3-foot gap at the bottom? WTF. Your food portion sizes are fucking huge. Walmart is fucking huge. Everyone wants to talk to us. We're British, so we're used to sitting in uncomfortable silence. We keep making friends. I'm driving for the first time over here. You guys just turn right through red lights. WTF. How TF does 4-way junctions work? So far I've been going for it and hoping for the best. Seems like a mad free for all to me. I actually really like how driving here works. All the roads are like bob on straight. 10 mile back home would take me 50 minutes, here it's like 10 minutes through town. Your houses are weirdly unsecure? Like, there is a glass window pane all the way down the side of the door. I could break my hand through and unlock it in all of 3 seconds. The back doors have a tent around the pool, and the rear door is a glass sliding one. Single glazed. I could force it open with a toothpick. I ordered chips and got a weird look at restaurant night. The waitress brought me some Lay's chips, bless. That's all I can think of right now. We're staying in Orlando for anyone wondering. Edit, thank you all for your help and advice. We're having a lovely time so far and love America. Edit 2, some stuff I forgot, you guys are super quick on your horns. Also, apparently nobody breaks in because they'll get shot, and everyone trashes Florida? It's been great so far. Ashes. How far apart everything is and how little is within walking distance. Location dependent, but I moved to a suburb in the Midwest as a kid and everything was so far away. Without access to a car and without reliable public transportation, it was pretty much impossible to get to a friend's house, unless they lived on your street or something, or go anywhere fun as a kid without relying on parents.